My pulse hammered. Had I unknowingly insulted the second highest ranking Marine in the Corps? My lieutenant colonel stood rigid beside the desk, face unreadable. The general motioned me forward with the same steady calm I'd seen when his debit card failed at the register. At ease, Sergeant, he said. His voice was low, measured. Sit. Junior enlisted don't sit for generals. I did anyway. To grasp why that moment felt like free-falling, rewind to a muggy Thursday evening 14 days prior. Exhaustion clung to me after 12 hours of convoy prep, MO counts, and endless DA 2062 forms. The kind of day where even the salt air off the Atlantic feels heavy. I needed 5 minutes of normal before facing my empty off-base apartment, so I swung into Mama Joe's, a weathered greasy spoon 5 miles from the main gate. Faded checkered floors, neon beer signs that never quite worked right, coffee that could strip paint. I claimed my usual corner booth. Joe herself poured without asking. Rough one, she asked. Every day's a rough one lately, I muttered. Across the room an older man in a plain windbreaker and a Korean War ball cap stood at the counter counting change. His shoulders carried the unmistakable posture of someone who'd once snapped to attention for a living. Joe swiped his card once, twice. Machine beeped rejection. The man's neck flushed faintly, but his voice stayed even. Must be the signal out here. Joe winced. I'm real sorry, hun, try another. He dug deeper. A thin stack of 1s and 5s. Not enough. The handful of patrons, a couple of airmen, a civilian mechanic, pretended not to notice. I felt the familiar tug. I stood, walked over, tapped my card on the counter. Add his to mine, Joe. The man turned. Sharp blue eyes assessed me in one sweep. That's kind, but unnecessary. It's done, I said. Joe processed it fast. He studied my sleeves, the sergeant chevrons. Active duty. Yes, sir. A small nod. Appreciate it, Marine. I shrugged. We look after our own. Something flickered in his expression, appreciation, maybe amusement. I grabbed my to-go cup and headed for the door. Wait, he called softly. I paused. Your name, son? Sergeant Riley Morgan, sir. He repeated it once, like committing it to memory. Pleasure, Sergeant. I stepped into the humid night thinking nothing more of it. Back on base, trouble had a new name, Captain Victor Lang. Lang arrived like a storm front, transferred from Quantico with a reputation for razor-sharp evils and zero tolerance for sloppiness. Within days he was everywhere, spot-correcting uniform blemishes, demanding resubmitted after-action reports for single-digit typos, pulling Marines aside for counseling sessions that felt more like interrogations. My turn came fast. A routine gear inventory showed a mismatched serial number, human error, fixed in 10 seconds. Lang summoned me anyway. He held the printout like evidence in a court-martial. This kind of carelessness reflects on the entire chain, he said, voice flat. I'm noting it formally. I bit back a reply. The note went in my jacket. Over the following week the pattern sharpened. Extra weekend duty for me, surprise inspections timed to catch the section off guard, whispered warnings from the platoon sergeant that I was on Lang's radar. Morale sagged. Guys started triple-checking everything, fear replacing focus. Then came the summons, Sergeant Morgan, report to Battalion HQ immediately. No explanation. Walking that corridor felt like approaching a guillotine. I knocked. Entered. There he was, the cafe stranger. Now General Elias Thornton, legendary infantry commander, Medal of Honor recipient, 4 stars shining under the fluorescent lights. My lieutenant colonel cleared his throat. Close the door, Morgan. I did. General Thornton gestured to the chair. Sit. We need to talk. What followed unfolded like a slow-motion reveal. Thornton had been quietly assessing the base. Incognito visits, casual conversations, eyes on how people acted when they thought brass wasn't watching. The cafe stop wasn't planned. His card really had failed. But my small gesture registered. More importantly, anonymous feedback from the unit painted a troubling picture. Excessive administrative punishments, eroded trust, a commander more focused on building a paper trail than building Marines. Thornton opened a file. Lang's name appeared repeatedly. When Lang himself was called in minutes later, the captain froze in the doorway, face draining of color. Captain, Thornton said evenly, sit. The confrontation was clinical, devastating. Thornton laid out the pattern, 6 formal counselings in 3 weeks, most for minor clerical issues never addressed informally first. He read excerpts from anonymous statements. He cited Lang's prior command where similar concerns had been flagged but resolved. Lang tried to defend. Standards must be enforced, sir. Thornton's reply was quiet steel. Standards, yes. Fear no. A Marine should stand taller when their leader enters the room, not smaller. By the end, Lang sat silent, shoulders rounded. Thornton recommended immediate relief pending full inquiry. Lang left the office a different man. Alone with me afterward, the general spoke plainly. That night at the diner wasn't about eggs and coffee, Sergeant. It was about instinct. You saw a veteran in a jam and acted. No fanfare, no agenda. That told me more than any fitness report ever could. He slid a commendation across the desk. Not for the meal. For integrity under pressure. Keep leading the way you live, he said, shaking my hand. The Corps needs more of that. Weeks later I returned to Mama Jo's on a clear afternoon. Jo grinned as she poured. That silver-haired gentleman came back, she said. Bought breakfast for every uniform that walked in that morning. Never said a word about why. I smiled into my mug. I knew why. Sometimes the smallest gesture, done when no one appears to be watching, ripples farthest of all.